Welcome to the Orange. Episode 9. The employee experience is a soul journey. Today we're diving into something that's everywhere and yet nowhere. The employee experience, or as I like to call it, the soul journey of work. We tend to talk about employee experience like it's a design problem, as if with the right tech stack, perks, and touchpoints, we can engineer satisfaction. And to some extent, we can. There is value in intentional design, in orchestrating moments that matter, or in ensuring equity of access, clarity of process, and fairness in evaluation. But let's not kid ourselves. That's only the architecture. Underneath the onboarding flows, the feedback loops and career maps, lies something more delicate. How it feels to be there, to belong, to matter, to be seen, to be human. The employee experience is not just an HR agenda. It's the emotional, relational, and even spiritual landscape that people walk through every day. And it is this landscape that determines whether people thrive, survive, or quietly wither. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I was coaching a brilliant young leader at a fast-growing tech company. Let's call him Luca. On paper, Luca had everything. A big title, high visibility, and access to the C-suite. He was respected, well compensated, and regularly praised in all-hands meetings. But in our sessions, something unexpected kept surfacing. Not stress, not overwhelm, but emptiness. I don't know what I'm doing here, he told me once, eyes lowered. I hit my KPIs, but it feels like I'm disappearing, he paused. Like I'm performing a version of myself, and no one sees the real me. His team liked him. His boss praised him. But Luca felt like a ghost in his own life. Everything looked right from the outside, but something essential was missing. Connection, meaning, aliveness. And not because the company was toxic. In fact, it prided itself on being people-centric. But no one had ever asked the deeper questions. No one had held space for the inner experience of work. And so Luca drifted, not out of the rebellion, but from quiet resignation, until eventually he was ready to leave. So some data help ground this in the everyday. According to WorkHuman's Human Workplace Index, nearly 30% of employees say they have felt invisible at work, and 27% say they have felt ignored. Gallup data shows that the majority of the world's employees, almost 2/3, are not engaged. 18% are actively disengaged, meaning a large portion are just there, perhaps fulfilling tasks, but not fully alive in the work. The cost is real. Low engagement has been estimated to affect the global economy by $8.8 trillion, roughly 9% of global GDP. These are not just statistics, they are science. They reflect many hidden stories like Luca's. And this is the shadow side of employee experience. When we optimize for productivity but forget purpose. When we create efficiency but lose empathy. When we check boxes but miss people. And here's the paradox. Even the best designed employee experience strategy cannot substitute for the quality of presence that we bring to one another. No app can replace true attention. No survey can capture the ache of invisibility. And no perks package can heal a soul-deep disconnection. So, what does it mean to take the employee experience seriously? not just as a system, but as a field, as a living relational fabric. Culture is not what we declare, it's what we embody. And experience is not what we plan, it's what we co-create. As leaders, we are not just architects, we are gardeners. We don't build employee experience like a structure, we cultivate it like a living field. And fields respond to how we show up. If we are hurried, they grow brittle. If we are distant, they turn cold. But if we are present, something begins to bloom. So let's deepen this by adding a practice, a ritual that you can try in your team to help reclaim presence, connection, and meaning. A practice of showing and reflecting the hidden. In a regular meeting, invite each person to respond to 2 prompts. One is, what part of you have you been leaving at the door? Like with Luca. The other one is, what part of your inner experience hasn't found space here lately? Then pair people up or use triads so that each people shares what come up and the others reflect back what they have heard, what have surprised them, what they themselves have recognized in the other's experience. And finally, back in the full team, each member names one thing that they learned from another sharing, one insight, one longing, one change in perspective, and one small action that they will bring in to show up more fully next time. This practice can help dissolve the distance between what's said and what's felt, what's official and what's internal. Let me return to Luca now with this practice in mind. In our final session, I asked him that question. What part of you have you been leaving at the door? He went quiet. Tears welled up. He said, the part that loves to build things, not just manage them. The part that wants to connect, not just perform. And there it was, his truth, his yearning. Not for a new job title, but for permission to be whole. He shared, others reflected. He felt seen, not only by me, but in small ways by himself and in glimpses by the team. So let me offer you some questions to carry into your week. What does it feel like to work here, really? Where might people be aching in silence? When was the last time that you asked someone how they're doing and really meant it? What do people long for in your culture beneath the metrics? What subtle signals are you missing because you're too focused on the loud ones? And here's the hardest one. Where might you be ghosting yourself at work? These are not fluffy questions, they are strategic, because an employee experience that ignores the inner world is not sustainable. Because people don't burn out from hard work, they burn out from empty work, from disconnection, from the slow erosion of meaning. So let's stop calling this soft stuff. Let's call it what it really is, the soul of the system. If we can meet people there, with honesty, with empathy, with real care, then work becomes something more than a transaction. It becomes a place of becoming. And isn't that what we all want? To do meaningful work with people who see us in a place that makes us more whole. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it, and stay with the questions. They have a way of opening doors. So new episodes released regularly, weekly. Stay curious. If this episode stirs something in you, subscribe to The Orange Twist, your weekly shot of insight on leadership, culture, and change, served with a twist. So join me next time for another fresh pour of perspective.